Hey everybody, welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower here with my co-host, sister, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, it's, less than a week till Christmas. We're in the
Right?
last push.
We
Yeah.
are. We are. It's pretty exciting. The thing I love about this time of year is Christmas is going to happen no matter what. So
Yep.
you kind of hit a wall of, well, I'm ready, or whatever, this is going to be it.
Yep. Yep, for sure. I
I
know.
read,
Nice.
it is. I read this hilarious observation of what Christmas is today from a Muslim guy. Did you read this that I posted
I
on my
did.
Facebook page? He lives in the US. He usually visits his parents over the Christmas holidays, but can't this
Yeah.
year because of the virus. So his roommates are educating him in Christmas and helping him participate in Christmas. And he has this huge, hilarious list of all the stuff he's learning about Christmas.
Yeah.
And so much of it is kind of nonsensical, frankly.
Mhm.
But it was a really great observation of, like, from the outside looking in. I just loved it.
The ornament. They
The
told him he
ornament.
should buy an ornament, a special ornament for himself to put on the tree that you save and pass down to your posterity. And so he bought an everything bagel ornament.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Well, and he did say that this is a part-time job from mid-November to the end of December, and he had not realized how much work Christmas is.
It's true.
It was so great.
Yeah. Like, you want to sleep in on Saturday? Too bad. You've got to hang up lights. You want to sleep in next Saturday? Nope. Sorry. You've got to hang up more lights.
Yeah. Yeah. You also have to stress over the gifts that you are required to buy.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny. I love it. I love that kind of observation that kind of makes you, look at your own stuff a little differently. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, also Christmas can be or not be religious in any way.
Yes. And he talked about how
Yeah.
if he suggested that for Ramadan to his mother, that she would have a heart attack. It was just great. He's really, really, really cool. So yeah, that was really fun. Kind of made me think, okay, gotta chill the hell out here a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good.
We have a cold read case for you today.
Yes.
I'm going to present this case to Katie. She does not know what this case is, and she's going to give us a cold read on what she thinks is the truth. I have a few questions for you. This is a listener suggested case, so thank you, Jeannie, for this. I admit I have heard of this case, but I had never heard of what this serial killer is known as. And it's really kind of funny. It's almost like comic booky. Okay, so I'm going to share in the stream right now so Katie can see it. This is a picture of the Doodler. The Doodler? The Doodler, yes.
Okay.
So this is a doodle, if you will, of the Doodler in 1975, the first picture, the one on the left. When he was in 1974 and 75, he killed maybe 16 people. They're not really sure. There's about 5 confirmed, but they really believe there are many more. There are also several assaults. So this is him in 1975, and then they've done an age progression doodle. We'll get to why this is funny in a minute, of him now. Okay. So the reason he's called the Doodler, he was active in San Francisco in 1974 and 75, and he would go in gay bars and he would sketch people. He would sketch men, particularly white men, and then kind of go up to them. This was his pickup line, right? So he would show them the sketch. Well, they would be super flattered. They would leave with him. He would have sex with them and then stab them to death, mostly out on the beach.
Oh my God.
Horrifying, right? But there's this weird, like, comic books, side of this. He's the Doodler because he doodled his, drew pictures of his victims. And then the only pictures we have of him, also doodles, I don't
Yeah.
know. Weird.
A lot of doodling going on
I
here and
really
diddling,
wanted,
but that's a totally
yes,
different.
that's also happening as well.
Mhm.
But this was really scary in that time frame. The
Yeah.
gay community was really shaken up by it and really afraid. Unfortunately, I don't think that there was nearly enough energy put behind actually resolving this case at the time.
Mhm.
There were several assault victims who were, one was a diplomat, one was like a well-known local entertainer. Like there were people that didn't want anyone to know that they were gay.
Yeah.
And so they would not testify. However, they supposedly did identify the doodler in 1975. But because the victims would not testify against him,
Yeah.
they've never even released this guy's name. He's still been a person of interest for all this time now, 45 years, crazy. But he's never been arrested. His name has never been released. Sadly, they've also never released any of the doodles. I really wanted to show you guys the doodles. I have looked everywhere for them.
Mhm.
They're not out there. I was
Wow.
very curious to see what he was drawing because it appeared that it was good enough that people were pretty interested. You know, it would get
Yeah.
people's attention and draw them in. And then that's how he would pick his victims, basically.
Mhm.
So I'm going to tell you about a few of his victims and sort of what happened with them, because these are the ones that are believed to be for sure attributed to him.
Mhm.
So he was described at the time as an African American man, 19 to 25. He was about 6 feet tall and very slender. Some people called him lanky. For a while, the police actually thought that these murders were committed by 3 different people, but they're quite sure because of their similarities now, and also because of the doodling,
Mhm.
that in fact
That
this
was
was
all
the
him.
same
Yeah.
killer. Yeah, but there are different numbers on different articles and stuff, but it's believed that he killed around 16 people. There are some other murders that seem similar enough. And then at least 3 assaults on men who survived, who he
Mhm.
stabbed, but they lived. And so, you know, I mean, it really does appear that they know who did this. Just so awful and strange, you know.
Yeah.
His name has never been released. But the 3 victims were just very afraid to be outed, and they wouldn't go to court.
Yeah.
You have to consider what time this
Right.
was. This was a terrible time.
Right.
And they just, you know, they absolutely didn't dare. They would be
Yeah.
outed. And at the time, Harvey Milk, a gay, he was
Sure.
a politician and an activist.
And an activist, yeah.
In San Francisco at the time. And he spoke out publicly about the victims who would not. They believe there are many other victims that didn't even talk to the police, let alone not go to court. And he
Mhm.
said, Harvey Milk said, "I understand their position. I respect the pressure society has put on them." And, you know, because there was some backlash in the gay community, like, hey, you're not protecting other people
Right.
by coming forward. But I mean, we're talking about literal destruction of lives here. And so they're just,
entirely. Yeah.
yeah. Harvey Milk said that he believed at that time in 1975 that 20 to 25% of the 85,000 gay men in San Francisco were closeted about their sexuality.
Mhm.
So, you know, there was a fairly large group of people here who wouldn't speak up. There is apparently
Can I
a
stop
TV.
you right there and just say one thing that's coming in really strong? I just want to say it now. I have such a strong connection to him in New Orleans, and I can talk about that later, but I want to throw that
Okay.
out there.
Okay. Very good to know. Very good to know. Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to tell you about him? Oh, I want to talk about the 5 victims that they are quite sure he killed.
Mhm.
So the first victim was Gerald Kavanaugh, and he was 49 at the time that he was killed, and he was stabbed.
Mhm.
He was found on January 24th, 1974, laying face up on Ocean Beach in San Francisco, California. He had been dead for a few hours.
Okay.
It was determined he was conscious at the time he was killed, so they know that he's stabbing them while they're alive. And he did have self-defense wounds.
Mm-hmm.
He was unidentified for a while. And he was a single man, and there wasn't a lot known about him, except that there was a 911 call the night that he was killed from someone who said, there's a body on the beach. I think someone's been killed. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get too close because I don't know what's going on, but I think somebody needs to get down here. So the police last year, so in 2018 and 2019, there was kind of a resurgence of maybe they can catch this guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some work done, especially the finally catching of the Golden State Killer has really brought a bunch of cold cases back to the forefront because they're realizing maybe they can use the familial DNA and, stuff.
Yeah.
So there's been a call out to that person, whoever it was, because they were unidentified, that if you are the person that made that 911 call, please come talk to us. We want to know what you saw.
Yeah.
And then there was Joseph J. Stevens, known by Jay, discovered on June 25th, 1974. This was near Spreckles Lake in San Francisco. Stevens was 27 and had died not long before his body was found. He had been seen at a club the day before. He was a drag queen and comedian.
Okay.
And also same manner of death,
Mm-hmm.
that he was stabbed. And then there was Klaus Christman. He was a German-American immigrant. He was found by a woman walking her dog on July 7th of 1974. His death seemed to be more violent than the other murders. He had way more stab wounds and had been slashed in the throat a bunch of times. Unlike the other victims, he was married and had children. But
There was just a lot more anger behind this one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he fought back better, but I also feel like whatever was said, he managed to really enrage the killer in a way that the others didn't.
Yeah.
That really created this, less, not just a power killing, but also there was rage involved in this one where it hadn't been in the others. Yeah.
Well, and he was a closeted gay man, and he might have started talking about his wife and children.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
He apparently, Klaus had some kind of makeup in his pocket, which made police believe that he was probably a closeted gay man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Then there was Frederick Kappen. He was 32, and he was found on May 12th, 1975 in San Francisco. He had also been stabbed in the heart. He had been drug along the sand about 20 feet. He was identified through fingerprints. He was a nurse, so his fingerprints were on file, and he was also a veteran. He'd served in the Navy.
Okay.
In Vietnam. And last was Harold Goldberg. He was 66, and he was found on June 4th, 1975. Now, this one was a bad one. He was found in a decomposed state. He had been dead about 2 weeks. This one's kind of a weird one because he wasn't on the beach. He was on a golf course. And there was like all of this brush built up over him to cover him, and that's why no one had found him for longer. But but they think because of the manner of killing that he was one of the victims of the Doodler. Because he was killed the same way, but yeah, he was killed on a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to say. So there was a young man that the police suspected and they questioned, but couldn't go through with criminal charges. You have to understand that there's a period of time where we didn't have what's known as evidence-based prosecution. What we had was witness-based prosecution. And so if you didn't have somebody showing up to say that person did it, this was before forensics was, good enough that you didn't need the victim present to convict somebody. So they were without witnesses. They really didn't have a way because they didn't have DNA.
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have fingerprints. I mean, fingerprints were a thing, but it didn't seem that they had any. They really didn't have anything but these witnesses, right? So they were very afraid of testifying in court. And so, I mean, honestly, the police just dropped this. Now, here's a weird thing. This is part of that. I think that the police didn't take this nearly as seriously as they should have, because it was gay men. This young man, you know, the unsub, we shall say, because we don't know his name, was seeing a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist came to the police and said, he has confessed to me these crimes. And that was apparently not enough for the police to charge him. I cannot imagine that not being enough for the police to charge him now. And, you know, the psychiatrist came forward because he knew that this person was a risk to the community and had to speak up for, you know, obviously you have to be careful about that. But they knew that this person was a danger to the community. So they spoke up, and they still wouldn't take it to court. They still wouldn't take it forward. Let's see. So no one else has ever been apprehended. There's very little. There's a lot of stuff not known about these crimes, because the police in San Francisco have actually kept this case open, and so nothing can be released. Like they haven't been able to release his sketches, the name of the victim, nothing like that. They say that the psychiatrist, now that they've really reopened this case and are looking hard, they say that the psychiatrist's last name was Priest. Now, this is how bad their records are. They don't. They only have the last name of this dude. Like, they can't find this person. But you got to consider, this was 45 years ago.
Right.
He could very easily be dead.
Yeah. Oh, is dead. I think. I feel like that's the case. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that, like, they couldn't put out a full name? Why? There was just not nearly enough done in this case. Not at all.
No. Gay men, you know? Yeah. This isn't very far away from the AIDS epidemic, when, you know, this country proved without question that they would do absolutely nothing to protect the gay men in this country, you know?
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what happened with this case. And it just boils my blood to think that this has gone unsolved for this long, particularly because they literally have someone who confessed to his psychiatrist that he did this.
And I actually believe it's true. I believe like that. I believe that really was
exactly who it was.
Really
have kept an eye. I will say that the police have kept an eye on this person. They do know who this person is. They did at least write that name down. So there were two other potential suspects in 1977. There was a pair of men in Redondo Beach who were arrested and questioned on suspicion of about 28 murders that were similar to these killings. They occurred after, and trust me, these are not my words, homosexual encounters. They don't believe it was them, though.
No. However, I do think that in the area, word had really gotten around, you know, in the community, not just the gay community, but in, you know, communities in general. And that maybe part of what we were seeing was like a copycat killing. I don't think that this guy killed the guy on the golf course. It just does not resonate with me that was his crime. I feel like that was someone else, something else.
Yeah. That Harold Goldberg. Yeah.
Yep. That one. The other ones all resonate as, they were all his victims. There were a lot more, you know, that didn't come forward, you know, obviously that probably weren't killed, but I feel like maybe there were more that were killed that we don't know about too, that, you know.
Well, it makes me wonder about those killings in Redondo Beach and in other areas. Like it is believed he didn't live in San Francisco, but he came to San Francisco to find victims and kill them. And then he lived somewhere else, which helped him to not be under as much suspicion. In February of 2019, the police in San Francisco offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of this killer. And that's when they came out with the revised sketch or doodle of the doodler. And they did say that they would consider forensic genetic genealogy. Now, that was more than a year. Well, that was, you know, more than a year ago now, almost 2. Still haven't seen anything. So I don't know. There is potentially coming out a Doodler Killer TV drama series, and I have not seen that. I don't think it's been produced yet, or at least it hasn't been released that I can find. But, guys, if you're watching on YouTube and can comment to us and you know that it's been done, please let us know, because I'd really like to watch it.
Yeah.
I think it will be hard to do a drama on this because there's so much information that's unknown and so much information the police are holding on to. So,
oh, for sure.
What else do
And
you want to tell us?
unfortunately, I feel like it was kept open purposely for a very long time because they didn't want the spotlight to be on the police department, because they didn't do their due diligence in these cases.
Yeah.
And the political ramifications around it, because, it's obvious why they didn't. And now it's like, okay, we don't really care about that now. Now we actually really want to keep it open because maybe we can solve this now, I feel like there is, in some way, this is, trying to make amends for the past, if such a thing is possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like there's some attempt now, but yeah, this just didn't. I mean, they literally had a suspect in custody who had confessed to his doctor. How do you not move forward with that? Is that really about not having evidence-based prosecution? Is that really about not having witnesses? Or is that about not really giving a damn?
That came from a higher source.
Yeah.
That came down from, I don't know if I want to say that came from the mayor or it came from the chief of police, but that came from a higher source who said, we are not going to make a circus out of this. We aren't going to, we're not going to make a big deal out of this. We're going to let it go. We're going to let it go under the rug. That was directly ordered to let this go.
Yeah, I feel that too. Tell
And
us
it
a
was
little
absolutely
bit.
out of bigotry.
Oh, horribly. Yeah, horribly. Tell us a little bit about the Doodler. What do you pick up on him?
So the Doodler is really interesting to me because he's one of those that I feel like if people knew, that know him, knew that he did these things, they would be like, what? He's the nicest guy, I feel like in high school, he was a very quiet, nice, artistic kid that, was bullied a little bit and put down a little bit. And I was trying to decide if is the Doodler actually gay or is this just a target for him? I actually think he is gay.
Okay.
I do. Sometimes we see serial killers who aren't, that just they want to attack men. I feel like he actually was gay, but that I think he was raised in a household that was some kind of like born again religion that was extremely harsh towards gay people. And that because of his artistic tendencies in school, he was called gay and teased and harassed. And he essentially hated himself and hated gay people, It's we've seen lots of people play this out in different ways, like politicians and things, but
Right.
little different in this aspect, But so I feel like he never really thought he could actually just be openly out and like be in healthy relationships. And then a much more broken part of his brain, went this route where he was, I feel like he was good looking. It wasn't really hard for him. He didn't need to be the Doodler, to get people's reeled in, except for that I think he actually was really shy socially. And so it was hard for him to connect with people. So this was kind of his, it was his icebreaker. Not that he needed it, but does that make sense?
Yeah.
He didn't need it per se, but for his own social skills, he needed it.
Right. Like other people would have been interested in him anyway, but this helped him. Okay.
Yep. And then, of course, he would spend a night with these people and then he would kill them because of the self-loathing that he had. I mean, I think it's pretty transparent, really what this was about. I do feel like as you were talking, I just keep seeing New Orleans. And I was like, I wonder why, what is the connection? I feel like after a time he did leave the area.
Okay.
Now, I feel like he still has really strong connections to California, and he may have come back, but I
Mhm.
feel like during the 80s, he was in New Orleans.
Uh,
I feel like there are some killings there that could be tracked back to him as
mm,
well. I think he spent the 80s in New Orleans. I feel like by mid-90s, he was back in California. I do believe he's still alive.
okay. Okay.
He's, you know, he's a little older now. He's got to be in his 70s now, but I feel like he is still alive. And, but again, I don't think it was just in California where he did these things. I feel like when he moved to Louisiana, he did more of this.
And probably there's not been a connection made because of the time that this occurred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that the police are going to be able to pin this on him? Do you think he's actually going to see a judge?
My gut feeling is yes. When you ask me that, I'm getting a strong yes on it that, yeah, before the end of his life, he will stand for these things. Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah. Or at
I,
least
I
some of
really do
them.
feel like they're trying at this point.
Uh-huh.
There hasn't, 2020 has been such a shit year. A lot of
Yeah.
this stuff started in 2019, and then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things screeched to a halt in 2020, and
Yeah.
hopefully, they're going to be able to get back to working on some of this stuff. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I think he will. I think there will be charges that finally come. It'll be yet another one of those that we go, huh, you know, they're almost too old to even.
right, yeah, almost too old for it to even matter at this point, but
Mhm,
at least, there are family members of the men that he killed that
mhm,
at least will get some closure. Why do
mhm.
you think he only killed white men?
That's a good question. Oh, it was a part of he was attracted to white men.
Okay,
It was a part of the game he was playing with himself to see if he could get them.
okay.
So, partly it was the picture, and this was all just kind of it was a game he played with himself to see if he could get white men to be interested in him
Mm,
as a black man, and you know then see how far he could get them to go with him.
wow,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because definitely race had some kind of factor in it because all of
He
his known
did.
victims are
Yeah.
white.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much for that. I think that this is a case that really a lot of people want to see solved and
Definitely.
want to see a bit of a comeuppance about it
Hmm.
because with as much evidence as they had back in 1975, it's hard to fathom that that person wasn't, you know, charged and
Yeah.
tried for what they did know that they had done.
Yeah. Well,
So,
we'll continue to hold space that justice will still be done in this case. It can
mm,
be.
most definitely. Most definitely. All right. Well, that is our cold read for tonight. We want to remind you that we will have three shows like this week, as well as our live stream on Wednesday night for
Mhm.
our case update. And there's some more Daybell Vallow shenanigans to share. We won't be doing our Thursday night live stream because it's on Christmas Eve, and we're going to be celebrating with our family and
Yeah.
going to be off having some fun. However, don't forget that we have our new membership here. It's called Spirit School. We did our very first Spirit School live stream this morning. It was a
Hmm.
winter solstice meditation. It was so fun. I loved it so much. So that is available on the homepage of our channel. When you click join, then you can see the things about the membership. I did schedule 2 classes to be done by the end of the year, and then we'll, get into kind of a more regular schedule next month.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, the 27th, I'm going to be teaching an Intro to Spirit Guides class. And then on Tuesday, I'll be teaching an Intro to Attachments class.
Okay.
And so with the membership, that's what you get. You get a live meditation and 2 metaphysical classes a month
Hmm.
that you can attend live, or you can pick up after the fact if you can't be there for our live times. But it's a great opportunity to interact with Katie and I. We've been metaphysical teachers for 15 years, and we love our work. We've done tons of teaching, and we wanted to find a way to kind of reach that out further into the world. And this is how we've
Yeah.
done it. So
Awesome.
if you want to learn more about Katie and I, you can go to truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. You can suggest a case there. You can join our mailing list. There are places to click if you want to get a reading with either of us. It's a lot of fun. So go check out our website, join our mailing list, because we're going to start sending out some fun stuff there, and send us cases. We love it. We have a huge list of case suggestions. Like this one was a case suggestion. Thank you again, Jeannie. This was a fascinating case to review. So, we can't know about all of them. So please send us your favorites and we'll do it. Send us unsolved cases. That's what we like to cover, is unsolved cases.
Yep.
So,
okay.
We are True Crime Paranormal. So thanks for joining us tonight. Bye, guys.
Take care.